My name is Mike, Applefun Puppetry, and this morning we're going to do something different. We're not going to make a puppet. We're going to look at how to make a story for your puppet or puppets. If you have more than one puppet, then that's puppets, plural. So there you go. We've learned something already. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to try and make a story for our puppets, and we're going to write it. Now, if you don't know how to write, that's okay. You could print, or if you don't know how to print or write, don't worry about that either. You don't have to write it down. You can just remember it. Okay, so we're going to use these this morning. I'll come up to the camera and show you this. These are Rory's story cubes. Rory's story cubes are dice. I'll open it up and you can look inside. They're a set of 9 dice. You can buy these in a lot of toy stores. I think you can still get them at Chapters if you're in Canada. And if you're American, I don't know where you get them. Maybe Barnes & Noble or whatever it's called. And they're good. They're a great way to make a story. If you're having a hard time thinking up a story, these dice help a lot. So, and if you don't have these, don't worry about it. There's other ways you can generate a story. If you go on the internet and just Google how to generate a story, there's lots of things, free things on the internet that you can use to just plug in different things and you can generate a story. So this is just one way that I sometimes use to make stories, or if I'm teaching a class on how to write puppet shows, then sometimes I use these cubes, these dice, because they're really fun. So what they are, they're dice, but without numbers on them. Instead of numbers, they have little pictures on them, and they're just to give you ideas, okay? So these don't mean anything, really. They're just meant to spark your imagination. So there's a sheep, and then on this side there's a L, which is a letter. This is like some kind of a fire guy or something. And there's a footprint on this one. And so each dice has 6 sides, right? And there's 9 of them. So that means there's a lot of different symbols here. This one is a keyhole. There's a little guy parachuting. There's a fish. Right? So the idea is there's different ways to use these, and there's little instructions in here on different ways you can use them, but really it's up to you. I don't really follow any of the instructions. What I do is I just roll the dice and see what I get. So you roll the dice and you randomly are given a bunch of different pictures right away, and you look at them and you see if you can figure out if it tells a little story to you, right? So there's a key here, there's a light bulb, there's a flashlight, there's a turtle, there's a cane, like a walking stick. There's this one here, it's really cool. It's just a bunch of arrows sticking out. So maybe that's a compass, or maybe that's a clock, or maybe that means you go in any direction, or maybe that means you have to make, your character has to make a choice as to where he goes or she goes. There's a book, there's a letter like you would get in the mail, and there's a lock. So some of these things go together. There's a lock and there's a key. There's a book and a letter, which both are maybe have writing in them, right? Or there's a light bulb and a flashlight. So let's see if we can think about a story here. And if you don't like the dice that you get, that's the beauty of it. You could just roll them all again. Or you can even just roll them one at a time, say. So here I did another one. I got a bee, I got a flower. There's a good, that's almost a story right there, right? There's this one where there's a little guy standing there and there's like kind of a sheep, a shadowy monster behind him. And so, and there's a clock and there's an airplane. So there's 2 things about flying, right? So you start to think, it gets your brain moving about stories, right? Different kinds of stories. There's an alien, so maybe there was an alien and he took a plane that flew over a rainbow, and then he got out of the plane and then he started walking towards a flower, but there was a bee there, and the bee scared him and he had to get back to his spaceship, so he flew back to the stars. See? So I just made a little weird story based on what I had here. I had an alien face first, and then I had an airplane, and then I had a rainbow, and then I had a foot, and then I had a flower and a bee, and I had the monster picture, and then the clock, and then the star. So I made up that story based on just rolling these dice. Okay, so that's just to show you how you might do it. So sometimes what I do is I'll get a pad of paper and I'll just write down some of the ideas that I had. Alien, airplane, you know, just write down some points, and then you can start to play around with the puppets inside of your stage. So let's try that. So I have one of my puppet stages here that I made earlier. It's just out of some cardboard, and this one is a toy theater, and it has a curtain in the front, and there's a little stage inside of there. So you can then, I have these puppets that are on sticks. So this guy looks like an alien, so maybe he lands and he's like, "Oh boy, I just got off the plane. I've just landed here. Now I don't know what to do." And then this guy comes over, he's like, "Oh, welcome to Earth. Watch out for all of the bees." "Oh, there's bees here?" "Yeah, usually there's lots of bees around and they'll sting you if you're not careful." "Oh, well, that sounds a bit scary for me. I think I better get going. Back to my planet in the stars." "All right, well, have a nice trip." So I kind of based that story on those dice that we just rolled, right? So it doesn't have to be good, right? You just start making up stories, and eventually you'll come up with something good, hopefully. But don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be good. The important thing is to just try, right? Just enjoy playing with the stories. I once had a teacher who was trying to teach us how to write, and we wrote stories in his class, and he said, "You guys aren't noodling around enough," he said. "You guys aren't playing around enough. We weren't having enough fun writing the stories. We were trying to do the stories too seriously." And so sometimes when you're trying to make a story, try to have as much fun. Make it as silly as you want, because the ideas will come out maybe more easily that way. This is another thing that I sometimes use. These are a deck of cards that I printed off the internet for free. And it's just a bunch of cards with little story prompts in them. And there's about, I don't know how many there are here, 20 or 30. And you just shuffle them, and then you deal out 6 cards, and you see what the story is. So they have different story points on here. Like this one has a picture of a guy on a horse, and he's leaving, and it says leaves underneath. So this might, if the story starts like this, it's like the hero is leaving on a journey. And then this one has a guy who was fooled, right? So if you flip that one up next, maybe the next part of the story is the hero leaves home, but he's fooled. He thought he had to leave, but he didn't need to leave. And then you go to the next card. He's being tested, because this one says test. And then this one says chase. So maybe someone tricked him into leaving home so that he could test him, and he's chasing after him now. And then the hero, and this one says information. So maybe the hero gets some information that helps him go on the journey. So this is another way you could write a story. You can find things like this also on the internet. I cannot remember where I found these ones, but they're really awesome. I think I just Googled, how to make a story, prompts for making a story. Okay? So, but we're talking mostly about these cubes today. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there's also an app for these cubes. I don't know I think you can still get it, but you don't have to have the physical cubes. There's an app you can get for I think around $5 or something, and or it might be free. I'm not sure. I doubt it, but it does the same thing. It's just it rolls. It's an app on your phone, and you can roll the dice in your phone. All right, so that's another way to do it. All right, so let's try and make another little story. Roll the dice, see what we get. Okay, we got a flower, we got a moon, we got a clock again, we got the turtle again, we got the letters. There's a whole bunch of different sets of these dice too. This is the basic set. There's one for space, there's one for fairy tales, there's one for sports, there's one for different themes like Scooby-Doo and Batman. There's all kinds of Doctor Who is one. So you can add to the set and make stories about your favorite themes. I got the letter. I got just a question mark. I got scales of justice. I got an airplane and a letter. I'm going to re-roll these. I got a face, like a sad face, like an emoji face. I got a fire. I got the earth. I got a castle. So let's see if we can tell a story here with this one. Once upon a time, there was someone who was sad because I got this dice. It's his sad face. And then he had an idea, and I got that one from the light bulb cube. He decided to go looking, because I got this magnifying glass, so he's looking for something. He was looking for justice, because I got the scales of justice. So he went to the castle, which is this one here. I got a castle. But the castle was on fire, because I got a fire here. And so the castle was on fire, so I'm going to roll these last 3 dice, see if I get something different. And so he went searching, because I got this flashlight, which makes me think of searching. He went searching for information, because I got this book. That means information to me. Information on how to escape, because I got a parachute. Alright, so we had a guy who was sad. He had an idea. He decided to go looking for justice. He went to the castle. The castle was on fire, so he's decided to search for some information on how to escape. Okay, maybe that's a story. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's try it out. I got my other puppet show booth here. And this one is for different kind of puppets. This is for hand puppets or mouth puppets. So I'm going to put some puppets in this stage, and keeping in mind all of those ideas that I just got from those dice. Let me see if I can tell a story. I'll get some puppets. Here's a guy. We made this stage we made in another workshop, and we made this puppet in another workshop. Yes, hello. My name is Louise. I'm not feeling very happy today. In fact, I'm sad. Do you want to know why? Thanks for asking. I'll tell you why I'm sad. I'm sad because I'm looking for justice. There's no justice. And so I'm going to the castle to try and find some justice. Here I go. Okay, I'm here at the castle. Oh no, the castle is on fire. And then you might make like a prop of a little castle, and it's on fire. But I don't have one right now, so just use your imagination. Oh no, the castle is on fire. I don't know what to do about that. I better look for some information. Okay, well, I think I'll go to the library and look it up. No, that's not a good idea because, I'm at the library. The castle is burning down. Okay, well, there's nobody in the castle, so everybody's safe, so I'm going to escape and try and find the fire department and get them to put it out. The end. Okay, so that was a story. It's called The Girl Who Was Worried About the Castle Being on Fire. It's not the best story in the world, but that doesn't matter. The point is, it was fun to make the story, and we can work on it. That's only the beginning, right? So, there you go. I don't know if there's anything else to say about this. These dice just make story, not writing the whole story, but thinking of ideas a little bit more fun than just, sitting there staring at a piece of paper and trying to think of an idea, waiting for an idea to come into your brain. This just starts it out. Okay? That's it. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in today to watch the workshop. This one was how to make a story for your puppet shows. I'll see you guys next time. I'm Mike, Applefun Puppetry. Bye.